Have you ever felt that crushing weight when she says no? That sharp sting, like someone just ripped a part of you away, leaving a hollow ache inside. You're standing there, heart racing, mind spinning, wondering what went wrong, why it didn't work out, and most importantly, why you feel so small. Rejection has a way of sneaking into your soul, whispering lies that you're not enough, that maybe you'll never be enough. But here's the first truth most men never hear. Rejection is not a reflection of your worth. It's a mirror of timing, of compatibility, of unseen dynamics that don't align with your story. And yet, in that moment, it feels like the world has stopped just to remind you of your failure. What most men don't understand is that dignity is not given to you by anyone else. It's owned by you. Every reaction, every emotion, every choice in that moment is a declaration of who you are beneath the surface. Some men crumble, they chase, they beg, and they twist themselves into shapes they don't even recognize, all because they've mistaken her no as a verdict on their value. But imagine what it would feel like to hold yourself steady, to smile softly, to nod and walk away, not because you don't feel hurt, but because you are bigger than the situation, bigger than the fleeting opinion of someone else. That is strength. That is control. That is magnetic power. Here's the psychological truth that changes everything. Women subconsciously notice how a man handles loss more than how he handles success. When you dissolve into desperation, it signals insecurity. But when you absorb rejection with calm, with grace, without losing your composure, it signals an unshakable confidence. And confidence is the silent force that draws, even after the door closes. You become the man who cannot be diminished, the man who holds his value no matter what, the man who others, women included, cannot help but respect. There's a method to transform this pain into personal power, a mental framework most men never even consider. It starts with acceptance. Acceptance isn't resignation, it's recognition. You acknowledge the loss, the feelings, the moment, without letting them define you. From there, you reclaim your energy, your thoughts, your life. You create space for self-improvement, for clarity, for growth, because rejection, when handled properly, isn't a barrier, it's a launch pad. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to turn rejection into dignity, how to absorb the blow without breaking, and how to flip the scenario so that even after a no, your confidence and presence leave an impact that lingers long after she walks away. But first, you must confront the hidden lies your mind tells you in that exact moment. Let's be honest, most men react to rejection like a storm raging inside. Thoughts collide. She didn't like me. I must be ugly. I must have said something wrong. The mind spirals, and suddenly your value feels like a question mark in the eyes of the world. But here's a secret no one tells you. The intensity of your pain is not proportional to your worth. It's proportional to your attachment. And attachment is a choice you can control, even in the heat of rejection. When you feel that familiar stab in your chest, instead of allowing your ego to collapse, ask yourself one simple question. What can I control right now? You cannot control her choice, her feelings, or the universe's timing. What you can control is your response, your posture, your tone, your silence, your composure. Every moment you spend spinning in frustration is a moment you hand over your dignity for free. But the moment you pause, breathe, and center yourself, you reclaim that power. You show the world, and more importantly yourself, that you are not defined by anyone else's approval. There's also a hidden trap many men fall into: over-explaining, over-apologizing, over-chasing. You start to rationalize every thought, every feeling, every move, as if your value depended on her understanding you. Let me tell you this, it never does. Your worth is inherent, untouchable, and outside the bounds of someone else's opinion. By chasing explanations, you create desperation. By standing firm, you create intrigue. By holding your dignity, you silently broadcast, "I know my value, and your choice does not diminish it." The mental shift is subtle but profound. Instead of seeing rejection as failure, see it as data, information about compatibility, timing, and human dynamics. Every no is a lesson, a clue about how the world works, how women operate, and how to evolve into the man who attracts effortlessly. This is not arrogance. This is strategy. This is intelligence disguised as calm. Men who master this mindset never beg, never plead, never collapse. They evolve. And that evolution is magnetic. Now imagine walking away from a rejection, not with heaviness, but with poise. Imagine smiling, nodding, and continuing your life without hesitation. Imagine her watching from a distance as you carry yourself with unshakable dignity, your presence speaking louder than any words. That silent, confident exit becomes a statement far stronger than anything desperate pursuit could achieve. Its power disguised as grace, strength hidden in silence, and the kind of energy that makes women and the world take notice. There's a quiet, invisible war waging inside most men when they face rejection. It's not her voice, her words, or her choice. It's your inner narrative, the one that whispers, "I'm not enough." And here's the truth few men ever realize. That voice is a liar. It's a conditioned response, a leftover from every moment society told you you must be accepted to be valuable. But what if I told you the real power lies in refusing to engage with that lie? The moment you stop believing it, you begin reclaiming not just your dignity, but your identity. Handling rejection without losing yourself starts with one fundamental principle: emotional ownership. You own your feelings. No one else does. Her choice doesn't make you sad, hurt, or diminished. You do. And once you internalize this, everything changes. Pain becomes feedback, disappointment becomes insight, and humiliation becomes a lesson in presence and restraint. You learn to sit with discomfort, to breathe through the sting, and to carry yourself in a way that communicates, "I feel, I acknowledge, but I'm not broken." The second truth most men overlook is timing. Rejection often has nothing to do with your value and everything to do with her timing, her life, or her own unresolved dynamics. That is liberating because it removes the weight from your shoulders. You stop personalizing her decisions. You stop chasing invisible validation. Instead, you focus on building yourself, mastering your mind, and elevating your energy. Women subconsciously notice this shift. Calm, collected men radiate stability, security, and strength, the traits that attract far more than desperation ever could. Then comes the subtle art of the exit. Most men linger, argue, explain, or defend themselves. You don't. You exit with grace. A simple nod, a soft smile, and a calm detachment. Nothing said, nothing begged for. It's not cold, it's composed. It's the ultimate demonstration of self-respect, and paradoxically, it makes you more memorable. Women remember men who handle loss with power because it signals resilience, independence, and a life lived on your own terms. Finally, transformation begins after the moment passes. Rejection is the soil for growth, the forge for character. Reflect, learn, improve, but never attach your self-worth to someone else's approval. Every no becomes a stepping stone, every encounter a mirror showing where to grow, and every challenge an opportunity to solidify the man you are beneath the surface. This is the secret of men who never crumble, never chase, and never lose their dignity. They convert every rejection into fuel, into power, into magnetism, into presence. Here's the part most men completely miss. Rejection is not an endpoint. It's a spotlight on your inner power. It exposes fear, insecurity, and dependence. And while most men panic and flail, the truly magnetic ones lean in, study the feeling, and let it refine them. This is where self-mastery begins. You feel the sting, Yes, but instead of reacting, you observe. You name the emotion, accept it, and decide consciously how it will shape you. That's a level of control most men never reach, and that's why they never become irresistible. Let's break it down. Step 1. Detach from outcome. Your mind is wired to chase validation, to seek approval, to measure worth by acceptance. Stop. Every time you chase a woman who rejected you, you are confirming to yourself that your value is negotiable. But when you detach, when you hold your dignity higher than her choice, you signal an unshakable self-respect that is deeply attractive. It's subtle, silent, and impossible to fake. Step 2. Channel the energy. Rejection hurts because it's emotional energy trapped in your body. Instead of allowing it to fester, redirect it. Exercise, create, build, learn. Speak to your goals, your passions, your vision. When your energy flows outward into growth, the sting of rejection loses power, and you emerge not diminished, but elevated. Women, and the world, can feel this shift. A man who converts pain into progress is magnetic. A man who crumbles is invisible. Step 3. Reflect without judgment. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this encounter about myself, my desires, my limits? Not about her, not about her feelings, but about you. This is where true self-improvement lies. Every no becomes a mirror, not a verdict. Every setback becomes a lesson, and every moment of discomfort is training for unshakable confidence. And step 4, cultivate presence. After rejection, most men retreat, withdraw, or sulk. You do the opposite. You step forward into your life fully, with dignity intact. Your posture, your expression, your calmness speak volumes more than words ever could. This is the invisible power that leaves a lasting impression long after the conversation ends. She remembers the man who handled loss with composure because it signals security, confidence, and an inner life that is larger than fleeting rejection. Master these steps, and you transform rejection into a tool of empowerment. You shift from chasing validation to commanding respect. You stop fearing loss and start embracing growth. And that, my friend, is the invisible force that makes you magnetic, unshakable, and unforgettable, even when someone says no. By now you should see that handling rejection is not about luck, charm, or changing her mind. It's about mastery. Mastery over your emotions, your presence, and your dignity. Imagine the difference between the man who begs, pleads, and chases versus the man who absorbs, processes, and rises. The former fades into memory. The latter leaves a lasting impression that lingers long after she's gone. That lingering presence, that quiet authority, is magnetic, and it all starts with the choice to refuse to crumble. Here's a truth few men ever confront. Rejection doesn't just reveal your weaknesses, it reveals your potential. The moment of no is a test of patience, of restraint, and of self-respect. And tests are only meaningful if you respond intentionally. Every reaction becomes a signal to yourself and to the world about who you are beneath the surface. Panic, anger, and desperation signal instability. Calm, poise, and controlled composure signal power. You decide which story you want to tell. And while most men interpret rejection as failure, you'll learn to interpret it as data. Every no tells you something about timing, attraction, and alignment. Every encounter teaches you how to refine your energy, sharpen your presence, and elevate your game. Women notice men who are emotionally unshakable, who transform setbacks into momentum, who carry their dignity as if it were a crown. You are that man. You hold your value, even when others attempt to diminish it. Now, here's your challenge. Think about the last time you felt rejected. How did you respond? Were you in control, or did you let emotions dictate your actions? Here's a personal equation for you to solve. Take the last no you received, subtract desperation, add composure, multiply by confidence, and divide by growth. What does that equal in your life today? I want you to answer that in the comments below. Let's see who truly understands the power of dignity in the face of rejection. If you commit to these principles, every rejection becomes a stepping stone. Every setback becomes fuel. Every no becomes a magnet for your growth and your presence. You will walk through life unshaken, respected, and unforgettable. Like this video if you feel ready to claim your dignity. Subscribe to see more insights into female psychology, dating dynamics, and self-mastery. And share this with a friend who needs to hear this truth, because learning to handle rejection with power is a game changer for every man.